To get ideas for horror movies, you just need to look closely at nature. There are many legends about creatures like vampires and ghosts who have the power to control the minds of others. But things keep getting weirder and weirder. Here is why. In breaking news, the zombie virus has already been created. However, it has not been necessary to create it in laboratories, as this fungus has been roaming the earth for thousands of years. Asia. Cordyceps fungi are a parasitic fungus that can control the minds of insects. For example, when an ant is infected by the fungus, it begins to act strangely, moving away and looking for a tree to stay firmly on. Once there, the fungus grows from within, forming branches that can release more spores and infect other insects. In fact, this is so terrific that the fungus is so good at what it does that it can wipe out an entire ant colony. And this is not the only case of mind controlling among ants. Mexico, a species of ants, has formed a relationship with the acacia trees. The trees provide the ants with this sugar-rich nectar, and the ants act as gardeners and defenders of the tree. Now, this sounds great, like a perfect relationship, but there is more. The catch is that the nectar possesses addictive properties and also blocks their stomachs so they cannot eat anything else. Now, that army of hypnotized ants sounds like a horror movie. And although fortunately the fungus does not affect humans, cats can really affect our brains. While cats may look very cute and harmless, the truth is that they can play with our mind and hypnotize you, making you feel affinity for them or attract you to them so they can just devour you in one bite. Cats are the favorite host of a very terrible parasite responsible for spreading Toxoplasmosis. This is a disease capable of affecting other animals and even humans. If a rat contracts Toxoplasmosis, the virus moves to the brain, where it's able to alter its ability to feel fear. In this altered state, the rat is no longer frightened if it detects the smell of a cat nearby, and it may even start developing attracted feelings to the felines. This is advantageous for the virus, which can continue to reproduce if the host is eaten by the cat. Now, this virus can affect humans as well, although not in the same way. Addiction to kitten videos on the internet is natural. Don't worry. It is estimated that this disease affects 30% of the world's population. In worst-case scenarios, the Toxoplasmosis virus can cause mental illnesses such as schizophrenia and causing problems during pregnancy. Now, most people who have been affected by Toxoplasmosis may be the ones who have many cats. But here's the thing, the human body is really strong, and it could develop antibodies if it has been exposed to Toxoplasmosis. So what many scientists say is if you have had a cat before you got pregnant, then most likely if you were exposed by Toxoplasmosis, your body will be okay. No need to get rid of your cat. Always good to check though. The idea of not being able to control your actions, it is kind of scary, especially if we remember the famous book of Frankenstein's monster. But besides cats controlling us with their beautiful eyes, things can get worse when technology is involved. And we can actually start talking about cyborg beetles. As children, who didn't like to have a remote control car? It was as close as you could get to controlling a real robot. However, scientists in Singapore have taught the world how to create cyborg beetles. It's actually pretty simple and yet complicated. Using a radio receiver and several electrodes attached to the body of the African beetle, the scientists have managed to control these insects by remote control. And the most mind-boggling part is that it worked through a Nintendo Wii controller. The electrodes were implanted into the nervous system of the arthropods, allowing them to move their muscles to walk or even fly in the desired direction. But the story gets more and more scary. Not only did they do it with beetles, but other animals such as rats, moths, cockroaches, and some birds, and fish have also managed to be controlled via remote control. There is a reason why this is being done. It is believed that this technology could be applied to rescuing people in accidents, surveillance, detection of explosive mines, and it's even theorized that it could be useful to help people who have lost a limb. Now, it sounds pretty incredible when there is a device that will move your body in case you really need it using electrical impulses. And yeah, that sounds pretty creepy. But the scientists said that the beetles don't really feel pain during the process. But not everything sounds as good as it is. Imagine for a moment that there was a disease that forced you to raise offsprings that were not even your own. Now, we're not talking about adopting children or maybe a cat adopting a dog. It's a little bit more complex than that. You should thank the universe, in this case, that you're not a crab, as raising your own children could be deadly. While the green crab is one of the 100 most invasive animal species in the world, there is one predator that does teach them the true meaning of invasive. Meet the Sacculina. This parasite has everything that it takes to be the main monster of a horror movie. At first, it looked like a common larva, and it is, until he attaches himself to the body of a crab. When it lands on his victim, the Sacculina not only controls the crab's body, but it's even capable of modifying it. To reproduce, it seeks out another infected crab, and once it spawns its offspring, the crab will take care of them as if they were their own. And as scary as it sounds, the Carcinus maenas are not related to mollusks or some bizarre gelatinous creature. They're actually related to barnacles, those little creatures that attach themselves to boats. But although that's terrifying, the insect world can be more hostile and cruel than the mammal world. Some insects are willing to play very, very dirty games, even if it means faking your girlfriend's identity. Imagine there's a guy or a girl who you like and you want to get closer to. Just to know a little bit more about him or her. So you go out for some talk and suddenly, surprise! Your crush has turned into a monster made of beetles. Unfortunately, this is one of the many misfortunes that bees have to go through. When the blister beetle are in the larval stage, they gather in numerous groups on the stem of a plant. Once there, they begin to release pheromones. These pheromones act as a love potion for the bees, tricking them into thinking it's a potential mate. Once the bee realizes the deception, it's too late. The beetle climbs on their backs and waits for the male to find another real mate. After that, they just wait for the bee to leave eggs to devour them when no one is watching. Bees are easy to attract for various reasons. Many of them can even mistake perfumes with sweet fragrances as if they were flowers. That's why we have to be careful when we go on a prairie or a garden, especially if we're wearing a perfume. We can confuse those critters too, and they may be attached to us. Playing with the bee's sense of smell seems simple, yes, but if you want a real demonstration of brain control, you have to meet the emerald wasp. Now, as the saying goes, it's all fun and games until the cockroaches starts flying. But as disgusting as they may be, I wouldn't wish what the emerald wasps do to them, even to my worst enemy. In the Africa savannas and Southwest Asia, this hymenoptera is found, being around 4 times smaller than its favorite prey, cockroaches. When an emerald wasp finds a cockroach, it slowly approaches it and injects it twice with a venom. The first prick serves to disable its legs, while the second one is directed at its brain to zombify it. During this state, the cockroach is in a vegetative state, unable to move, while the wasp guides it to its burrow. Once there, the last step consists of inserting a single egg, which at the moment of hatching will already have good enough rations of food until it's fully developed. And as a horror movie and a terrible, terrible scary scientist, the wasp actually cuts the cockroach's antennae during zombification, which is believed to be done to analyze the levels of hemolymph, which is the insect's blood, in order to make sure that it has not overdosed the creature with venom. How horrible is that? We actually have to be thankful that insects are really small. No one wants a giant cockroach or a car-sized parasite for sure. But in the meantime, we can marvel at the little horrified things that nature have created. What other mind-controlling animals do you know? Now, remember to share with us. Thank you for watching, and until next time.